Okay. Welcome, everybody. So glad to see all of you from all over the place. I just love it. Yeah, hands, dance hands, right? Thanks for coming. So tonight, first of all, many of you have been to our Fundamentals of Wellness classes before, but we've been doing classes every other Tuesday. So twice a month, and we might end up adding more. Actually, we added an Essential Oils 101 last week, so we did an extra class, and we'll keep you posted. But we've been doing a lot of different subjects, and we've been calling this series our Fundamentals of Wellness. And so every other week, we come with a different topic of how to use the essential oils or the supplements or the products. And we just want to be able to be there to educate all of you. You have your oils, you have your products. I know sometimes even me, I've been doing this for 10 years, but I swear sometimes I just forget about some of the simplest things because I have all of the products, okay? Every single thing that doTERRA makes. And so sometimes you just kind of get buried in it. And I know there's a few of you that know what I'm talking about, right? And you'll forget about some of the simplest concoctions. So tonight we're focusing on oral health. And oral health encompasses a lot of different things. And so we're going to be covering a few different topics. We're going to teach you how to brush your teeth. We're going to talk to you about our fabulous toothpaste and mouthwash and just how great it is for your mouth and your gums and the healing that can come from it. We're going to talk about everyday kind of stuff like that people have issues with, cold sores and canker sores and sore throats, bleeding gums, teething for babies, that sort of thing. And we're going to talk about some of the great ingredients that set our toothpaste apart. And what else am I missing tonight? Oh yeah, we're going to learn how to do some fun things like, I don't know, some of you may have done some of these things before, but some of you may not have any idea what like tongue scraping is. Oil pulling. But these are things that you can do for better mouth health if you have some mouth issues. So who's beginning tonight, Wendy?
Kathy's up first, and she's going to talk to us about our toothpaste, the ingredients in our toothpaste and mouthwash.
Okay. And Carrie will pitch in every once in a while.
Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you that Carrie is actually a dental hygienist. So she's like the mouth expert here tonight, and we're grateful to have her on board with us tonight as well. So anyway, Kath, take it away.
Well, I'm going to talk fairly briefly about the toothpaste and the mouthwash insofar as the oils that are in it. And then Carrie is going to be taking over and dealing with some of the chemicals that are used, and I call them chemicals, but they may just be natural ingredients with long names that I can't pronounce. But they are the science, further science behind the products that I think she's better at explaining. So the toothpaste and the mouthwash, I'm assuming, and I shouldn't, but I'm assuming most of us have tried them. And if you haven't tried the mouthwash, it might be something that you'll consider after tonight adding to your product inventory. It's delicious. It's obviously you don't swallow it, but it's just so refreshing. It pretty much mirrors the same ingredients oil-wise as the toothpaste. Most of the oils come from our On Guard blend, and they have added some additional ones into the toothpaste and the mouthwash for particular reasons. So I'm just going to quickly go through the oils that are in it, give you just a real quick reason why they might have added it into the toothpaste. And then because there's obviously a lot of properties that these oils have that cross a lot of other body systems that don't have anything to do with your mouth, but we'll talk about the mouth ones. So wild orange. Obviously, wild orange is an uplifting, it's energizing. It's, I think, in the On Guard for the energizing properties. It's immunostimulant. So it helps with your body's immune system in stimulating its activity, and it's antiseptic. So it's a really nice addition into some oral hygiene. Clove is another one in there that I think is a powerhouse when it comes to your mouth. It has immune boosting qualities. It's an antioxidant. It's really amazing. You can just put it for numbness and pain directly onto a point of pain, and it will help with tooth pain, cavities. It's also antiviral. So if you've got viruses, colds, it can be very supportive in helping eliminate those from your system. It's also an expectorant. So if you have a cough, phlegm going on with your the cold and the seasonal things that we deal with here, that would be helpful also. Cinnamon's also good for cold and flu. It's antimicrobial, antiviral, and I won't continually say all of these things because they're almost all antiviral, antibacterial, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, analgesic. It's very repetitive, but they all are in there for that exact purpose because they are very repetitive and help your body with its oral hygiene. Cinnamon is also great. You can, if you don't have the mouthwash, you can gargle with that alone in a shot glass of water. Just use your cinnamon and it will really help combat any mouth infection that you have going on as well. Eucalyptus is an unusual one. You wouldn't necessarily think about it being an oral hygiene oil. But back in World War I, they used it to combat infection and influenza. Look at Tinks behind Wendy. It's helpful with congestion, cough, cold, flu, bronchitis, pneumonia. Once again, it's all the antis, and it's also another expectorant. Rosemary is a mucus suppressing oil. It's for respiratory infections. It's analgesic and a stimulant, and it's also anti-cancer. So if you have any mouth concerns, it's a really nice one since it's in our toothpaste and our mouthwash to gargle with that. I think the powerhouse, there is also peppermint, wintergreen in there. I think it's flavoring, it's stimulating, it helps for bad breath, those particular oils. But I personally think that the powerhouse oil in these two products is myrrh, because myrrh is a very healing oil. It's for gum disease and bleeding. You can apply it directly to your gums without diluting it. It's great for infection, for viruses. It's great for mucus congestion because it's an expectorant. It's anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antimicrobial, anti-infectious, and antifungal. So these are really some amazing oils that they've put together in this product, in these two products. And I'd like Carrie to go forward with what else is in there. I know that there are gentle polishing agents that whiten your teeth in here, and I'm sure she's going to cover those. I just covered the oils that help clean and freshen your breath. So,
okay. Thanks, Kathy. That was good. I won't get too sciencey. I'm going to be really simple, but if you have questions, you can ask too. But one of my favorite things that's in our toothpaste is the hydroxyapatite. If you combine that with calcium, it actually helps remineralize your teeth. So one of the biggest acidic things that we eat and drink is coffee and soda. Soda is like off the chart, like a 2.3. And so I'll just give you a little funny thing that we used to do in school. We would have to ask a patient like what their diet was, and we would say, okay, do you drink a soda? Because most people, I grew up in Las Vegas and went to school there. Everyone drinks soda. It was hot in the summer. I don't know if I met anyone who didn't drink soda. So I asked him, I said, okay, so do you drink a whole soda with your meal, or do you sip it all day long, or do you sip it for a couple of hours? And they said, well, I mean, everyone was different, but if you do drink soda, it's better to eat it with or drink it with your meal because the rest of the food helps wash it out of your body. And if you sip it all day long, you feed bacteria in a liquid form for 20 minutes after you drink it. So we all have bacteria in our mouth, and so you're actually like letting it live on you for 20 minutes and produce its toxins. So if you're going to have a soda, have it and drink it all at once, and then rinse your mouth out with water afterwards.
Hmm.
But one of the things that the calcium carbonate that doTERRA has in the hydroxyapatite, it remineralizes your teeth, but it also helps. It's a bioavailable form mixed with the calcium, so our body absorbs it faster. And I find that very interesting because everyone's on hormones replacement, not everyone, but a lot of women and some men too, but it's bioavailable. So our body knows what to do with it. It's natural. It actually increases bone density and keeps you on the path to strong bones, right? Because it's not all our teeth, but what I love to tell patients is that your mouth is the beginning of the rest of you. You're really one big tube. And so if the mouth is unhealthy, the stomach and the colon will be unhealthy. And if those are unhealthy, your mouth is probably unhealthy too.
Carrie,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I missed the bone density part. Can you repeat that piece?
Yeah, it builds the hydroxyapatite mixed with the calcium. It remineralizes bones.
And this is in the toothpaste?
It's in the toothpaste, yeah, because what you want to do, a lot of people avoid fluoride for whatever reason. I won't talk about that, but if you like fluoride, you know, there's some benefits, but there's also some concerns. Some people have allergies. So this is why I, as a hygienist, use this toothpaste because it replaces my minerals in my enamel. Because when you're looking at X-rays on a patient, normally an X-ray will only show a cavity when it's 30% large. So we're always demineralizing. Our bones are demineralizing in our mouth as we eat and drink all day long. And so you want to remineralize. And so I use this toothpaste at least 2-3 times a day. But every time you do use it, you brush it on and then you don't want to rinse it out of your mouth. You want to try not to eat or drink for about 15 minutes. And you can use the mouth rinse right after. And you brush your teeth, you know, floss, obviously, and then use the rinse afterwards, but you want to try not to eat or drink for 15 minutes, but it's bioavailable. So a lot of toothpaste have ingredients that our body doesn't know what to do with it. They're toxic or they're chemicals. This is natural. And so our body knows what to do with it. It's a bone compound. Yeah, it resembles our bone. That's what makes it bioavailable.
And on that note, Carrie, I'm so glad you brought that up. If you look at any tube of toothpaste that you've purchased from the store, like Crest or Pepsodent or, you know, any of the typical ones by Johnson & Johnson or any of the others, and you flip over the backside in very small writing, it has the list of chemical constituents that are in there and then the fake sugars to make it sweet so it tastes good. And then it says, if swallowed, call emergency.
Poison control.
Poison control, excuse me, thank you. And then there's warnings on there, do not use on children under like 5 or 6 and do not swallow. And so this is what we grew up with, is this crap. And it's like, why would you put this in your mouth? And doTERRA has taken, you know, made this beautiful toothpaste that I have been using for years. I love it. And then they just upgraded it with this hydroxyapatite. Yeah. And when Carrie saw that, you know, we all get excited about different things. I'll never forget, Carrie was like, oh my God, hydroxyapatite, you know, and she's like freaking out about it, how great it is. And she was telling us how expensive this special toothpaste is that, you know, like for people who have demineralized teeth and bad teeth, she was saying they can get prescription hydroxyapatite, you know, the stuff is a fortune, and the dentist will write out prescriptions for it. And here we have it in doTERRA. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the quality and the stuff, the science and the research that this company spends millions of dollars on every year. They want to create products that are safe for everybody. And if you look on the back of our tube, there's no warnings about dying or calling poison control or anything. I love it.
I actually, when I brush my teeth, I actually don't rinse my mouth out after I finish brushing.
Yeah.
I just brush, I spit out the excess, but then I stop. I rinse my toothbrush off, but I leave it sitting in my mouth because everything that's in there is helpful,
Yes.
not harmful.
Well, and Kathy, it's a good thing you brought that up because as you know, growing up with Crest and all these others, you had to spit it out. You needed to get it out of your system.
Yeah.
With this, you want to keep it there. It's just the complete opposite. And you use way less. We were used to putting, I remember taking my toothbrush and taking a whole big line of that Crest toothpaste on it, right? And with this, you put one little, well,
They
we're gonna
recommend a pea size.
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, shall we run that video, Wendy?
Yes, we shall. And before we do, I just have one more thing that I wanted to add. I think as we get older, gum disease is it's a prevalent condition that a lot of us deal with as we get older. And I remember my dental hygienist would do that little prick test, and she would check your gums, probing that sensitivity. Yeah, and she'd turn herself around in her chair and write something in her little book, and then she'd come back and poke me some more. And she asked me, "Are you using On Guard toothpaste?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Your gums are in excellent health." So it also helps to tone the gum tissue. So if you're having receding gums or any kind of gum infections, it's a great product to use. Okay, would you like, Carrie, for me to show the video, or do you want to talk to us about the
you can show the video, but do you want me to go over the rest of the ingredients that are in there, like the difference?
Sure.
Because somebody might say, well, there's something called sodium lauryl.
Oh yeah, go ahead and cover that, Carrie.
Sarcosinate, and it's not sodium lauryl sulfate. That's what makes it foam. And the reason is this is natural. It's a biological material that's found in our body, in the human body, and it also is found in animals and plants. It comes from sarcosine, which who cares, right? It's a chemical name, but it's made from coconut oil, just so you know. And just so you know, it's a cleanser and it helps foam. It boosts the foam because we all want foam, even though that's not what cleans our teeth. And so that's the difference between those things. And the sweetener in it, it has some stevia, and it also has glycerin because it helps keep your mouth moist. And the other thing that I was really excited about is that the xylitol, because xylitol is a great product. It's been used since the 1960s, but it actually increases your saliva. And most of the patients, I'd say 50 or above, had dry mouth. And when you have dry mouth, you're reducing the body's ability to cleanse itself, because you can even brush your teeth with water. It's antibacterial because water has great properties, but we need more because we live on the American diet. And so, and also somebody asked me about the silica, the hydrated silica. It's a natural ingredient. It's found in the earth, and it's micro. It's a whitener, but it's also, you want something in the toothpaste that helps scoop off all the biofilm. It's like this big party of a layering that has to come off. And so a lot of people are like, well, I don't like that. Well, I don't know of a toothpaste that doesn't have that in it unless you make your own. But personally, I have very sensitive teeth and I use this toothpaste every day, and I don't have increased sensitivity. So I just wanted to mention those, and then you can play the video. Yeah.
Okay, so let me know if you can't hear this. I'm going to share my screen and pull up.
It's embarrassing watching my own face on there, but
we love it, Carrie.
Oh, and so knowledgeable, right? We're so lucky to have you here with us tonight. Oh,
I'm happy to be here. This is like my favorite subject. I'm toning it down.
Guys, she gets really excited when she talks about teeth and mouths.
Yeah, she's a pro.
It's pretty funny.
Here it is.
Well, the toothpaste though is absolutely amazing and it tastes good. And my father-in-law who had gum disease, and I've spoken with many people who had gum disease, and this toothpaste, using it on a regular basis, has completely changed their mouth. It's incredible. So
yes.
So can you see my
gum line? Oh, go ahead.
There she is. There she is.
Can you see this? Okay.
Yes.
Have you ever wondered how
It's a
much
little blurry,
toothpaste
but
you use on your toothbrush?
My name is Carrie Sue Smith, and I'm a dental hygienist by day and a wellness advocate with doTERRA. I teach classes and help people to improve their health. One of the products I'd like to share with you today is doTERRA On Guard Natural Whitening Toothpaste. We have several patients over the years who've asked if I have a recommendation for a toothpaste that doesn't have certain ingredients in it. Number one, including fluoride and other ingredients that they're allergic to. So I recommend doTERRA's On Guard toothpaste. A lot of the ingredients that are listed are for antibacterial properties. They help improve gums and tissue. I've seen patients improve whether they floss or brush perfectly or not. So it's a great toothpaste for everybody. One of the main recommendations for fluoride toothpaste over the counter is that if you get too much fluoride, you can get a toxic effect. So I'm going to show you how much you should have with over the counter and then what you can use with doTERRA. This is just a soft toothbrush electric. You can use any soft toothbrush as long as it's able to reach all the areas in your mouth. This just happens to be one brand. And what you want to use for anybody who's 6 and under is a rice kernel. Just a tiny little swipe of the toothpaste. That's it. Otherwise, if they brush with more than that twice a day, they're getting too much fluoride in their body. Could swallow it. Kids are young. They don't tend to, spit out toothpaste. If you were an adult with over-the-counter fluoride toothpaste, you would use a pea-size amount. So you would just use this amount here. And that's all you need twice a day. But with doTERRA toothpaste, there's no toxic limits to their toothpaste and brushing. Also, you can use a little bit less anyway because it's concentrated ingredients for anti-inflammatory. So one of the best recommendations I have is that you brush your teeth gently and softly for at least 2 minutes because we're all wearing masks and drying out our mouth. We tend to breathe through our mouth a lot more with masks on. We're trying to get air. So I recommend you double the time on your electric toothbrush or just follow the time on your watch for your manual toothbrush to 4 minutes. And one of the number one things for using the doTERRA toothpaste is brush your teeth, spit out the excess, and don't eat or drink anything for about 15 minutes. Don't rinse your toothpaste out. And that way you get the antibacterial ingredients of the toothpaste in the tissue and in the gums, which is what you want to fight against inflammation. So I hope this helps you today. If you would like to find out how to order this product, follow my link down below. And I look forward to meeting with you again. Thank you.
Yay!
That was
Carrie, that
Kimberly's
was
bathroom and her toothbrush. That was Kimberly's toothbrush.
That was my bathroom, my toothbrush.
That was great.
Didn't she do a great job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Wendy coached her on that.
She did, and I like to tell people in the dental office, but not on video really. So it's kind of funny. But the one thing I did want to say though is that I had patients that the main office that I'm at, they actually sell doTERRA toothpaste there. And one of the biggest things is that, when you're measuring, and I would probe someone's teeth when they started using the doTERRA toothpaste, 6 months later, I would measure again. But I had a few patients who came in who maybe saw different hygienists. And when I saw them, they had terrible numbers. They'd have anything 3 and under is healthy. They'd have a 6. They had bleeding gums. I had bleeding gums, even though I was a hygienist and cleaned my teeth really well. I'm a clencher, so that puts extra pressure. And then bacteria has a bigger window to cause inflammation and bone loss. And so this one gentleman came in one day, and I hadn't seen him because he'd seen the other hygienist. And I asked him, I said, wow, you are improving, but he had tons of tartar. So if you can imagine tons of bacteria building up on his teeth, and yet his gums were bleeding less and his numbers were lower. Well, that just told me that his pH of his mouth was more basic. So he was less acidic, less prone to cavities. And I said, your gums look amazing, even though you have, and I showed him pieces. I mean, I had to, I couldn't believe how much tartar he had. And he goes, I'm using this natural toothpaste. And I said, well, do you know what the name of it is? And he said, no, I'll check with my wife. And he got back with me, and it was doTERRA On Guard. And so I tell everybody that story because even though he obviously had more brushing or less brushing, and also he had some health issues that made him more prone to build up bacteria and plaque that turned into tartar. But the key is if you've got that in there helping you, even if you're not perfect at it, you're going to have a reduced effect. And so you cannot fix bone loss, you can't get it back, but you can prevent cavities and you can also maintain the bone you have. That's the goal for most people. So, and if you can get this healthier, can you imagine what your stomach and the rest of you is going to feel like? So I recommend it.
Okay.
Mouth rinse every day, twice a day. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great information. Great information. The stuff really works, you guys. It's amazing. Cheryl just texted me and she says, oh my God, she's been using oils for like what, 7, 8 years. She says, I've never tried the toothpaste. Yeah. So she's ordering it ASAP, she said.
And they have floss, Kimberly, but they sold it, the On Guard floss.
Yeah.
They sold it for a while and then they were saving it. We get it at convention and special events.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get the old toothpaste, but what I really like are the little samples, because you can just try some, and then if you're traveling, you just take one of these out. You can share it with a friend, but it's the new toothpaste is more pepperminty and the old toothpaste is more cinnamony.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like peppermint, but some people don't. So you have options anyway.
Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Miss Terry, can you unmute yourself and share all your fun little things for the mouth?
I hope I can follow suit on that, on those calicoats. Oh my goodness.
You'll do great.
Yeah, I love tooth and mouth and all this kind of stuff, health also. My mom really got us going at the dentist when we were young kids, and I just really appreciate it. So it's been an important part of my life for a long time, and I'm just happy to be here tonight and happy to see everybody here. Thank you for coming, everybody. So thank you, Rebecca, for coming. I'm very thankful for all of you. So I was just going to talk a little bit about our oral health epidemic that we have going on. Okay. It's not a good thing. And but it's the perfect subject of a discussion that we natural health warriors can talk about. Okay. Because it's really important and something easy to take care of. So, and I was kind of surprised to learn about there's estimated 80% or so symptoms of disease symptoms are attributed to problems of the mouth. So that's kind of astounding.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is bigger than I thought. So we want to avoid, obviously, going down that rabbit hole too far. But am I allowed to share a screen or?
Yes. Wendy, can you give her permission?
Okay. Yeah, and it's just a quick little thing, and it's what we don't want. Okay. Just an example. Am I good?
I think you should be able to get on there.
Okay.
Let's see.
Thank you. So this is what we don't want. Okay. Yikes. You guys see it?
Yeah.
A little rough. But it's just yikes, and things can get out of control, obviously, it's just, and the gum disease here is really rough. So we don't want to go down that path. Okay. So we have all these things that can really help us address these kinds of issues. So I'm going to talk about 3 of them: flossing, oil pulling, and tongue scraping. Okay. So flossing, obviously the little bristles can't get in between the teeth. And what's happening is that plaque and bacteria just keeps getting packed in there, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And eventually there's tooth decay and, gum disease and tooth loss, damaged roots, all of that can happen to those teeth. So, and then it turns out that this is now the precursor to inflammatory diseases, which aren't realized, like heart disease. So the serious stuff. So pretty easy treatment though, right? I mean, preventative maintenance. So flossing, of course, is an easy thing to do, right? We've got our little flosser, regular string stuff, and this for bigger hands that it's, not as easy to get into a mouth. someone, my husband, for example, has to use these guys. And then of course the picks work really well too. So easier just to just do the floss and the flossers and the water pick to get that stuff out between the teeth. So oil pulling, what is that? Kind of interesting thing. It's really been used for centuries in Ayurveda medicine. Okay. And it's really an oral detox process that is just simply a swishing of a tablespoon or two of oil in your mouth. Okay. And it really, it was used then and now, of course, to relieve bad breath, bleeding gums, chapped lips. And some studies now have shown that really what it is that mechanical cleansing of that swishing, which is really a powerful movement. I don't know if does anybody oil pull? Okay.
I don't do it regularly, but I've done it a few times. And for those of you who haven't done it, I just want to tell you, if you were a kid and you ate Jell-O as a kid, did you ever squeeze the Jell-O through your teeth? Is there anyone else who did it? Please tell me you did. Yay, Carrie. Okay, all right. Because you put the Jell-O and you just started, it melts in your mouth and you can kind of squish it through your teeth. Of course, that's not the thing you want to use with oil pulling. You want to use what Terry said is coconut oil. And that process, that's all it is you're just kind of squishing it back and forth through those teeth. And it's the weirdest thing, but it works.
Yeah, it's emulsifying and pulling fat toxins off of the surface of the teeth is what's really happening in there. And of course, it's killing bacteria that causes cavities and bad breath, gingivitis too. And so what do you do? Okay, so the first thing is that it's really first thing in the morning is the best time to do it. First thing in the morning. And so you just take your favorite oils, okay? So I've got my, lemon, peppermint, orange, and clove, okay? And I just do one drop of each of those in for me, it's 1 tablespoon of the unrefined coconut oil, okay? Mix it all up, put it in there, and just swish around for 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, it does sound like a long time, but basically you kind of get into this habit, I've realized, of doing it, and then you're just doing your regular routine in the morning or other chores that you have to do. It's easy just to get 10 minutes in at least, So then you just do that with your 1 tablespoon of that coconut oil, and then swish. And the important thing though is to spit it out in the garbage. Okay. Do not spit it down the drain. You will have somebody angry at you. Okay. Because then that just will clog your drain. So don't do that. Okay. So in the garbage. And then after it's in the garbage, you can immediately swish with some warm water. Okay. And obviously you don't want to swallow it after it, because it just pulled all those toxins out of your mouth and now it's in your mouth. I mean, you don't want to, re-ingest the toxins. But the important thing is that these essential oils that are mixed in there they're so powerful, right? Antibacterial, antiviral, antioxidant, all the things we've been talking about, medicinal. They're all in there, and that's the main reason that we want to add those to that oil. Okay, so really, there's no known side effects for this process, so just go for it.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. And so now, real quick, we have tongue scraper. This is my friend Scooby, the tongue scraper. And oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. Who has one of these? Anyone? Yeah.
Susan.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's similar. I have one, but it's similar. Just don't use the metal ones. Can I just say?
Don't use them.
Don't use them.
Oh,
No,
okay.
use the plastic one because people are a little aggressive, and I peeled my tongue when I tried it the first time, and not a thing. Yeah, you want to use plastic.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right, Terry.
I hope it grew back. Oh my
It
gosh.
hurt.
Okay, so this is the craziest thing is that all this bacteria, okay, well, we've done a good job with the flossing and brushing, right? Surface of the teeth, in between the teeth, but then there's still all this bacteria that's residing on our tongues. Okay, and it stays there, it grows there, and it multiplies there. So unless you clean it off of there. So this is actually a really easy thing to use for removing it. And so one thing, one reason obviously is that if you're taking it off, you're not reabsorbing that bacteria back into your system.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's a really important reason. And then removing debris from your saliva glands or salivatory glands, I should say, actually aids in digestion.
Huh.
Okay, and then this is the kicker. Okay, no other reason. If you're taking off all that stuff off your teeth, you are removing that bacteria, which is really food particles. Okay, and your cravings are reduced because you're taking this food off of that tongue, and then your body isn't tricked, your brain isn't tricked into thinking there's still some food nearby, and so the cravings evaporate.
Huh. Interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's pretty easy and a really easy thing, and also revitalizes taste buds, brings them back to life, sort of like hair pores, right? If you let them sit there, they go away, but if you stimulate them, anyways.
Huh.
So, and then it's pretty easy to use. You just stick your tongue out and put this back into your throat and pull it forward without gagging yourself. Okay, but basically like that, and just cut, pulling all of covering the whole tongue. Okay, and it makes a remarkable difference. Okay, and then you just clean it off. Okay, clean it off with some hot water.
Cool.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Or a lot of patients would tell me, that was very good, Terry. They would tell me that I can't use a tongue scraper because I throw up. So I would tell them, start at the front of the tongue, just do the front third, do that for a week, then go back a little further, and every day you go back a little further, because you want to be able to at some point go back where those little lumpies are in the very back, because that's where everything really is. And then don't look at it if it bothers you. Just get it out of there and rinse it down the sink, because we used to tongue scrape everybody's tongue, and then they would want to see what they would see or want to see, and honestly, it made half the patients not feel good. And so, but I said, think about it, it's in your mouth. And then I would tell them, and I'm going to be serious, they eat with you, but there's no porta potties. So guess what is left in your mouth? That's what causes bad breath, is their byproduct. So you want to use it, and you don't have to talk about it with anyone if you don't want to, but gently, at least once a day. And you did an awesome job, Terry. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So, just flossing and brushing and whitening toothpaste, doTERRA whitening toothpaste with remineralization, and scraping your tongue. I mean, all good things, oil pulling, all good things. And then I know there's one last thing we're going to talk about here, and I'm not going to talk about it. So that's it. And one last thing, though. Let's see if I can get to this really quick. Nuts. I guess it's not. There's always one thing that's not quite right.
Well,
Okay.
he's
Share
looking
something.
for
Well,
that.
can't get it. Anyways, we're going for healthy gums and healthy and happy teeth. So that's the goal.
So Kath, did you have something you were going to
I
ask?
just had a question. Yeah, I've always just used my toothbrush to brush my tongue when I'm brushing my teeth. Is that at all helpful, or
Yes.
if
I mean, it kind of is, but not really, right? Because the bacteria hangs around in there, right? Unless you were to disinfect it after each use. I don't know, the hygienist might have a better answer on that one. I could be wrong.
I know it definitely does because you're stirring it off your tongue, and if you feel more comfortable using that, you can. I have found that because that you can see it with, I have a plastic one that you just turn it into a U shape and you scrape it off your tongue gently, and I wipe it off. And on your toothbrush, she is right. Then you should soak your toothbrush. I actually wear an occlusal guard and a retainer every night, so I put that with my toothbrush in water in a little glass. It's just a tiny little half cup, and I put it in there with the doTERRA mouth rinse every other day. And then every other day I use peroxide, tiny bit of peroxide with water. But I do use a tongue scraper, but it will benefit you to use your toothbrush, Kathy. It's just, you'll find that you do have to clean it off because it's stuck in there. And if you
Yeah.
get cold or COVID, I actually had patients coming in and I was so excited when their doctor told them, you are reinfecting yourself with your toothbrush. When you get over being sick or you have COVID or even a cold or a sinus infection, throw the toothbrush away and then get another one. And if you are sick, do not use your electric toothbrush because they cost too much. Go to a manual brush temporarily and then throw it away. I use 3 when I'm sick. I use one in the middle of being sick because I don't want the old stuff on there. And then when I get completely through it, I use a brand new one so I don't reinfect myself. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Huh.
Yeah.
God, I learned so much today.
Yes,
I
that's
did
great.
too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so next we're just going to move on. I'm going to talk about just a few of the oils that are so good for mouth health in general. Number one, I want to just talk about analgesic properties. So for any sort of mouth pain, if you've had a root canal or, just a tooth goes bad, or sometimes you get food caught in a gum and it can be irritated and it can take days to dig it out of there, right? So there's a couple of great oils for that, is in using an oil that has analgesic properties. And what is analgesic exactly? Analgesic just reduces pain sensation. That's what analgesic properties do. And one of the things that dentists use regularly, and way before they came up with all the different drugs and painkillers, they would use clove. And clove is a natural analgesic. It reduces pain sensation and it kind of numbs the area. So we have our wonderful clove bud oil and it's amazing. And I have used it. If you don't happen to have clove and you get a sore, tooth or, gum, something that's bothering you and you're like, oh my God, I don't have clove, I don't have time to order. You do have On Guard. And On Guard has clove in it. So you could use that too. And what I did is I literally just put it on neat. If you've got real sensitive gums, I'm going to recommend that you dilute it. And neat just means putting it on straight without anything, right? And but if you a little more sensitive, then you might want to use some coconut oil or olive oil or whatever, and a drop of good old clove or On Guard. Now, another great analgesic is copaiba. Copaiba is an amazing oil that every household should have. It's a relatively new oil that doTERRA commissioned about 2 years ago, so not everybody knows about it. And it rivals CBD, okay, in every way, shape, and form. Actually, it's better than CBD as far as I'm concerned, because you can use it internally, you can use it externally. It just tastes like grass to me. So I'll put a couple drops in my mouth. And copaiba not only has analgesic properties, but it also has anti-inflammatory properties. So generally, if you have a gum infection or a root canal or a tooth or something that's sore, there's also inflammation. So by using copaiba and clove together, or copaiba and On Guard together, it's going to use the analgesic properties as well as cut down the inflammation. So copaiba is just an amazing one to have. So let's talk about canker sores or cold sores. A lot of people think those are the same. They're very different. Canker sores are usually like kind of an ulcer inside the mouth, mostly kind of inside the cheek. You'll get something in your cheek. And it hurts. I used to get canker sores when I was a kid. And so there's a couple different oils you can use on it if you get canker sores, and you just put it directly on it. Lemongrass is one. Frankincense is another. On Guard, again, good old On Guard. You can use it for so many things. Or tea tree, which is melaleuca. So you can just dab that on the canker sore. If you want, you can dilute it or you can apply it neat. It's totally up to you. Cold sores, on the other hand, and I know Kathy, you get cold sores or used to get them, and Kathy uses Melissa oil. Now, Melissa is a very expensive oil, so not everybody has it in their arsenal of oils. But if you have it, man, put it on. It'll take care of it, right, Kath? I mean, like super quick.
It's magic. I don't get them very much anymore since I've been using all of my products and especially my Lifelong Vitality. I get them much more rarely. But when I do feel it coming on, if you've ever had them, you know, it feels like kind of like a zit at the beginning, just this little lump on your lip. At that point, you put a drop of Melissa on there and it will never go further than that. And it will be gone by the time you get up in the morning. I mean, it is incredible. It has never gone beyond that little lump ever since I've been using Melissa. And you use one drop. So a little bottle of Melissa has lasted me for years. Even it's expensive, but to me, it's worth its weight in gold. Seriously.
And there's many
more than its weight in gold.
There you go. But if you don't have Melissa, you can use lemongrass, On Guard, or tea tree. Once again, good old tea tree. And I would also try copaiba, because once again, copaiba is this kind of secret oil. And let me tell you something about copaiba, you guys. Copaiba is kind of like a superhero. I like to describe it. Whatever oil you're using, no matter what you're doing, if you're making a flu balm or if you're making a, allergy cocktail, or if you've got, some skin thing or whatever you got going on, pain, use whatever oil you're planning on using for that issue. Maybe it's frankincense, and then top it with copaiba, because copaiba reduces pain and it also reduces inflammation. So it is just this superpower that just kind of strengthens whatever oil you're using with it. So it is, it's just an amazing oil. I put a couple drops on my tongue. I've grown to love it. We put it our dog has arthritis in her hips, and every night she gets copaiba and turmeric, a drop of each in her food dish, and she doesn't limp anymore. It's incredible stuff. Sometimes we switch it up with a little frankincense, but that's what we put in her meal, and she just eats it. So there's canker sores, cold sores. Bleeding gums, we kind of covered that. With bleeding gums, just using the toothbrush and the On Guard is going to help so much. Oil pulling is wonderful for bleeding gums. And as Kathy said earlier, myrrh is the magic oil for gums. It's amazing stuff. It doesn't taste very good. I don't like the taste of it. Ugh. But I've used it. But you could use frankincense or helichrysum instead for bleeding gums as well. So any one of those is wonderful. And once again, you can dilute it or use it straight. Sore throats. Let's talk about a sore throat or gums. Same thing. Gargling. You can gargle with our On Guard mouthwash, which is magical. Or if you don't have it, just put some warm water in a cup and put a couple of drops of On Guard and gargle and spit and gargle and spit. Or you can use oregano. And a lot of people are afraid of oregano, but I loved it. I talked to Jenna this morning. That's Derek over there. Jenna, she told me today, she remembered that, about oregano, and she's new with her oils. She just got her oils a couple of months ago, and she was starting to feel something coming on. And she was just like, I remember Kimberly saying about oregano. So she bravely put a drop of oregano into water, and she just drank it. And she said, like, within 45 minutes, she was feeling better. She says, that oregano just knocked it right out of me.
Damn.
So I love that. And it is antibacterial, antiviral. Oregano is amazing. So every time I get a sore throat, or if you're coming down with tonsillitis or strep or anything, gargle with just one drop of oregano. And I usually put lemon in it. I'll put a couple of drops of lemon and I'll stir it. And then, drink it. Try not to get it on your lip, and you just drink it, you gargle and spit, because you want to get that gunk off of your throat. You don't want to drink it and drink that stuff down into your stomach, just like you don't want to drink toothpaste or what you've brushed with all the bacteria and swallow it, right? Same thing, spit it out. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is teething. If anybody has babies or, you know, in their teething, I get people all the time asking about that. Clove is one that you can use, but clove is strong and it kind of tingles. So anytime you're using oils with a baby or a child that's teething, you always want to dilute. And you can use clove, but there's some alternatives that are a little less spicy for babies. And one of those would be Roman chamomile, or lavender, or copaiba. Any one of those you can apply directly to the gums. And then lavender is so calming. Lavender, it doesn't really have analgesic properties, but it's got sedative and nervine properties. It's relaxing and it regenerates. So the lavender just kind of calms everything that's going down in your jawline. So you can kind of just put it right here on your jaw. Even if you're having a toothache, same thing. You can put some lavender, you know, use the clove on the inside of your mouth and then put the lavender on the outside of the mouth. And it's amazing. So those are some little tips and tricks, and those things happen fairly commonly. So it's nice to have the info for that. And now lastly, we're going to have Wendy talk about TMJ and jaw pain, because that's a real thing. And I think that more and more people, with the stress of this last couple of years with COVID and, you know, working at home or homeschooling and working at home. And I know there's a few people that have pulled their kids out of school. Jenna is now homeschooling. I know Jill started working out of the home, and so did her husband and her kids during COVID. So they were all at home at the same time, and she was going nuts, right, Jill?
They're all gone now. Today was my first day in the house by myself. It was
Really?
great.
Oh my God. Did you dance around naked?
Yes, I did all kinds of things. We'll talk about that later.
I love it. So anyway, just the stress of all that can create some TMJ when you're not sleeping right, or you're grinding your teeth, which I know there's a few teeth grinders here. So Wendy's here to talk about TMJ, and then we'll be done for the night. So
thanks for hanging in there, everybody. I know this class is going a little bit long, but isn't there some great information? Are you feeling like you're learning some new stuff and learning about how wonderful the products are to support your health? And so I wanted to finish off by talking about TMJ, and a raise of hands. How many of you experience jaw pain?
I did. No longer.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So jaw pain, it's prevalent, right? It's one of those things that you just either you deal with chronically, or it's an acute situation where you just have it for a while and then it goes away. But you might be surprised to know that although stress can cause you to clench your teeth at night, there's another reason why you might be clenching your teeth at night. And it could be with the regards to your spinal alignment. So you have fluid that runs up through the spinal column, and if it gets obstructed by your alignment, by your posture, then the fluids don't move up into the brain as they're supposed to. And so you at night unconsciously grind your teeth, you create this pressure in your jaw, and that's drawing the fluid up into the spine. So it could be that it's stress, but it also could be an alignment issue. So if it's an alignment issue, it could also be that your pelvis is out of whack. So Kimberly and I worked together. I don't know if it was last summer or the summer before. She was experiencing some TMJ, and it's kind of a great story. It's a great testimonial. And I was helping her address that issue by getting into her alignment and understanding that the pelvis was a little out of whack. So we can use our essential oils, apply them topically to help you mitigate the pain, but it doesn't make the TMJ go away. You need to do something else that's going to act on the tissues of the body. So just for your own information, if you wanted to consider using your essential oils, the ones that I have looked at in my Essential Life book are Aroma Touch, which is one of my all-time favorites for just about any kind of pain and discomfort. Marjoram, also great for pain. Past Tense, Siberian Fir, and Deep Blue. And so you could just apply those topically to the area of concern. But I think for long-lasting pain relief, you may want to consider getting a massage to help you with your alignment if you go to a chiropractor. And I love to show people how to manipulate the fascia of the body, which sends fluid through the system and gives you more room to move. Because when you think about TMJ, it's really an obstruction of the jaw. It's a tightness of the jaw. And so what we want to do is give you a little bit more space inside the jaw. Could be it's come from your pelvis, could be it's coming from your jaw. So I just use a soft ball and I do a massage technique on the face. Some of you have seen that before. It has the added benefit of giving you a mini facelift, which is really phenomenal. It lifts your skin, it gives your eyes a little bit more of a pop, your smile gets bigger and brighter. It's really wonderful. And it could very well be the trick to give you a little bit more room inside the joint of the jaw. And then we use a soft body roller to help you adjust your pelvis, and all this stuff you can do on your own. It's really easy. It's really fun. It works right away. So for those of you that are interested in learning more about that, I hope that you'll let me know. So lots of oils to try for that pain, but maybe you need to get in there and also manipulate the tissue to give yourself a little bit more room to move from the inside out. And I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, complaints, criticisms? I have my oils.
I have one for you, Wendy.
Yes, love.
So the misalignment there in the spinal cord and the fluid, would that have to do with being a fetal sleeper?
Sure, why not? It could be that you just giving your body enough room to move. And it could be that you kind of curl in and creates an obstruction somewhere. It could be that there's a misalignment that you carry during the day, and you also do that when you're sleeping at night. So the fascia can get stuck in a particular shape. And so it doesn't matter really to me if you're sleeping or awake. If it's stuck, it's stuck. And that would mean that the fluids can't move easily through the system. So yeah, why not?
Well, I'd like to learn more about that. Yeah, I've been wearing a night guard for 10 years or
Yeah,
more.
I did too. I hated wearing that. I hated wearing that thing. So I'm much happier with my ball. And every now and then I do feel, Terry, that I wake up and I still have some jaw pain, but it's not as chronic a condition for me as it used to be. And I think it's because I'm much more diligent with caring for the fascia. So that technique, by the way, is called the MELT method, which some of you may have heard me talk about before. MELT.
Oh,
Carrie, she was the one who got rid of my TMJ. I started getting it 2 years ago when I was in my apartment.
yes.
And remember, it was like, I didn't know. And I had all these dentists. Oh yeah, $2,500, $3,000. Well, we're going to make you this, make you that. One session, I hired Wendy. I didn't even know. I never even thought of Wendy for TMJ. I went to a dentist, had a consult, and all these dentists are like, oh yeah, we can help you. We can help you, blah, blah, blah. And Wendy texted me because she saw my Facebook post and said, Kimberly, I might be able to help you with that TMJ with melt. And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that because I was using oils like crazy just to calm it down. She came over one session. I swear to God, she showed me what to do. When she told me it could have been my hips, I was like, what? But we did a couple things with my hips, and then she showed me these little exercises with my face. I did them for a couple days. It was freaking gone.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. And they were going to give me a mouth guard and do all this stuff. This was 3 years ago now. I haven't had it happen again.
Right. So here's our mantra. I think we all need to believe in the innate intelligence of your body to heal and feel well, right? So whether you're using essential oils, whether you have your other whole hocus pocus remedies, whether you're doing the melt method, if that works for you, that's your path. That's what you want to do.
Exactly. Well, our bodies do know what to do if we give them what.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for coming.
I had a question.
Oh,
The
you're leaving.
toothpaste, I tend to have tartar buildup. That's just like my body. I'm a little concerned if I tried the doTERRA, would I get more tartar buildup?
No, what was happening is that he was very unhealthy, and since I didn't tell you his name, I can tell you he had his stomach stapled. He was over 400 pounds, and so he lost like 200 pounds, and he was eating a very healthy diet that created a more basic pH. And so because of that, he just got volumes of plaque, and he was super busy, an accountant, not brushing well. He was more focused on the body, not the teeth. And so what happened though is bleeding is a sign of infection. So even if you rub your arm and it bled, it doesn't matter if you're healthy, there's an infection somewhere in your body causing you to bleed. So his infection was down, even though he had a buildup based on his new diet. And probably because when they do that, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, but they remove part of our body that we actually need to digest things. So it was just a sign for him. But if I could be on either side of the pH spectrum, I'd rather be on the side that builds up a lot of tartar, because I don't get a lot of tartar, and I'm a higher decay rate. And some of it's genetic, some of it is your diet, some of it is your organs and how they operate. So no, in fact, use it. Even if you won't get more buildup, you'll have more reduction in the inflammation that your own buildup causes. But your diet change, people who go paleo and they're less acidic, they come in and we're like, what happened? You look great, but your teeth you built up a lot of tartar. So it's okay that you have more tartar. You just have to really be diligent more in flossing, brushing really gentle. And since we're talking about it, I'll tell you, there's no perfect toothbrush. If your hygienist says buy this brand or buy that brand, buy whatever brand is soft. Do not use medium or hard toothbrushes, or you're going to scrub away enamel and you're going to cause recession. Little gentle circles, and literally look at your toothbrush and make sure you can fit it all the way in and behind that very back tooth. If you can't, it's too big for you. And I use a child's brush or a youth brush, and I have a big mouth, so you really want to use something that reaches it. But no, you absolutely will not build up more tartar because of that. Yeah. But when you get healthier, you might, because you're reducing your acid. And it's what our body does. It's a protection. Actually, tartar is a protection because it coats the teeth to protect them. It's a house for the bacteria.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Awesome.
Can't wait to brush my teeth.
Yeah, we're all gonna go brush it after this. Anybody else have any questions at all?
Terry, where did you get that tongue scraper?
And it's CVS,
Okay.
and it was the only one in the whole store. So, and I had to fight another lady to get it. Not really, but she wanted it too. So you might have to look around a little bit, but yeah, they're there.
Okay, thank you. Very informative.
Cool. All right. Well, if no further questions, I think we're gonna sign off. Thank you guys all for joining us. Cheryl just checked off and she said she learned so much tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great, thank you.
And
Great class.
yeah, so thanks
Yeah,
for
it was
joining
great.
us. And we'll keep you posted on our next class is 2 weeks from tonight, I guess, right? Is that
Yep.
correct? We haven't really discussed it yet. But we'll announce it on This Stuff Really Works, and we'll text you. And for those of you who are on the mailing list, you'll get a reminder from Wendy about our class. So thanks for being here. Have a great week.
To everyone.
Bye.
Thanks again for coming,
Bye.
Becca. We'll see ya.
Yahoo!
Oh, turn off the recorder.